Oh, good morning. Just started. I'm already out of breath. Good morning, listeners. Good morning, SVJ. Good morning to the rest of the world. Good morning, Mr. Defreitas. How are you?
Yeah,
Hey.
everything is wonderful. 3 minutes, 30 seconds after 8. It's Tuesday, and whenever it's Tuesday, I find myself at FM to use their platform positively. Hope that you're having a wonderful day so far. Good morning to you wherever you are. Good morning to you who anticipate that we will be here. We are here, and it's time for you to participate in our program. Um, I have some. Well, I'm not a Valentine person, so don't expect any Valentine talk from me. Okay, I don't have a Valentine's, and I'm not that kind of sentimental person. So people should know that by now. Um, but there's a lot of talks in cities and surrounding crime, sentencing. But here what happen, right? When one is accused and charged, he or she is innocent by law until proven guilty by a court of law. Some time ago, a lady was found with a sizable amount of cocaine and was given 2 years and 10 months sentencing, and we were told that the charge for trafficking was withdrawn. I'm not sure if it was withdrawn by the police or by an agent from the VPP office. But you know, there are a lot of questions you could ask on this matter if you have an inquiry in mind. You may say 60 kilo how much pounds of cocaine. Cocaine is a dangerous drug, and we not encourage anybody to get involved in that sort of trade. Okay, so first thing I want to ask, if that is it is a sizable amount of cocaine which was found, the police investigate the matter. They will submit their files and findings to the DPP office. I want to know who is responsible to institute charges against this lady. Why was this matter didn't charge indictable that she could not have plea in the magistrate court and they send the matter straight on to the high court? Or well, she was charged summary, and that's a minor charge in terms of the sizable amount of cocaine. But what bothered me, right, is that she was found guilty. We don't know which was the magistrate, but the magistrate decided a sentence of 2 years. And based on what is being said, it appears that the amount of cocaine is a huge amount. And I wonder if the magistrate, whether it is lady or sir, who heard the matter, if they think it fits, they could hear the matter, yeah, and they could use the criminal code and send the accused person to the high court to be sentenced. So we know that cocaine attract much more penalty than what was prescribed. I don't know what ingredients were used in this sentencing, why she gets such a light sentence. Okay, from where I'm sitting, I think it's a light sentence. 2 years, 10 months, and prison years is 9 months, and let's say it's approximately 3 days, and we know what that is. So why won't she charge from an indictable standpoint? Who informed and who suggests that the trafficking charge must be withdrawn? When somebody is accused, like I said, they are innocent until proven guilty. The police will launch an investigation and they will gather all the data and they will submit it to their senior, and the senior may or should send it on to the DPP office. Depends on each of charge they have in mind, and then the charge will be introduced and the person will be taken to court. And if, like how she is found guilty, there are sentencing guidelines. I don't know if the magistrate used Section 120 of the Criminal Code to do what she did. As we always hear on the radio, if you're accused and you go to the court and you don't waste the court time, you automatically get a third of the prescribed sentence by the nature of the charge that you're facing. So that could be it. And there are lots of questions may happening. I know of an incident where a person was accused for having like a fruit, a can of cocaine, and he was given a harder punishment by the court. So you know, you hear the police doing investigation. You have to go here, there, and everywhere. And I really can't believe what I'm hearing, if what I'm hearing is true. We're not going to call any names because we don't want to. What do you think that any of the leadership in the Royal Simmons and the Grannies police force should make a statement? And I'm not saying they did, I'm saying should they make a statement that they would like to have an audience with the magistrate? That means all the magistrates in Simmons and the Grannies. But if that statement is really true and it was made from where I'm sitting, I think this is a foolish statement. You know why I say so? The sitting commissioner of police is not an ordinary person. He's a lawyer, highly trained, and he once sat as a deputy at the DPP office. So that tells you he's experienced and he knows from his training. And there is no resemblance, and let me repeat that there is no resemblance in St. Vincent and the Grenadines that Ralph Gonsalves, who is in charge of the executive, the judiciary is headed by the speaker, and the legislature is a separate entity of government. There is no evidence suggests that interference takes place in the legal and judicial service, like my friend Douglas Richards always say. And let me repeat that for people listening, because I like to go and misquote people. I say I am not in a position. I don't think there is any evidence to suggest there is interference between the three arms of government. Okay, and when I heard that one of the commissioners is suggesting that he would like to have an audience with the magistrate and the magistrate in terms of sentencing guideline, I was a bit surprised. Why I say I'm a bit surprised because you once sat as a DPP deputy, you serve, you know the procedure in the DPP, and let me tell you something. When the appointments of personnel come, Ralph Gonsalves as Minister of Legal Affairs may suggest to the Legal and Judicial Commission this person has the requisite qualification to be the DPP. When she becomes DPP, she has no authority to report to anybody. Her office is an independent office. So I hear people making noise over mayhem, stupid, but she have a right to report. She has an independent office. She don't have to report to anybody. You may say, but Rosa is the Minister of Legal Affairs. Yes, he is. And he could make inquiry, but there is no suggestion and there's no evidence to suggest that Ralph Gonsalves is making any preparedness to make an intervention in that. He doesn't have that responsibility. So the PP who she is today doesn't have to report to anybody. She has an independent office and she has to use her training and decide whether she's going to nullify, discontinue, or deal with the issue of issues in charge, whether it is indictable or summary. She has that ability. She's the gatekeeper and she doesn't have to report to anybody. So there, we hear people say, oh, well, not a Gonsalves Minister of Legal Affairs could make an inquiry. Cool. But who is going to make the inquiry? Yes, he can make the inquiry, but the DPP does not have to respond to anybody, right? Anybody, whether it is you, me, or not. We have rights to make an inquiry, but she has no legal authority because of the independence of her office. But there are persons who are interested, like I am interested, what is the silent sentencing guideline used to convict a person who is caught with a sizable amount of cocaine. When you think cocaine, you think something bad. Cocaine is bad for people. It's a dangerous drug. And when you have that side of a monk that tells you, well, you're into trafficking and not only possession, and the charge of trafficking, what with drug. You hear the magistrate at times hearing a matter who, from where they said, seem to be very interested, and things that this person who is tried and accused and found guilty need to get a stiffer penalty because magistrate court and magistrate has limitation. So the sitting magistrate could use the criminal code and sit to the accused person. I think you need to be punished more severely by law, and I'm sending your findings to the High Court. So the sitting judge, he is could listen to and read the findings of this court and prescribe something much more severe than what the magistrate court give you. That could happen. And I hope somebody who has legal expertise could chime into this discussion and shed light on my thoughts to see if I am right. But so where I'm sitting, I'm paying attention. I think I'm onto something where you can make an inquiry. Okay? Because when people do wrong things, and somebody will say, "Can you to the Valentine's Day?" Of course, to the Valentine's Day. Who on my mind? Jarvis from the social newspaper. He was accused and found guilty of causing the death of a banker, right? And another institution on my mind is the International Airport of Aga, opened on the 14th of February 2017. So there are lots on my mind. And what you choose to discuss is particular topic that you're not really trained. Because you're not legally trained, I can't make a commentary on something that is affecting the landscape, criminal activity, crime. No, some people will say, no, you're not trained, so you shouldn't speak on that. And let me say special good morning to the former manager of Vinnick, Todd Myers. I hope that you're listening, Mr. Myers. You're highly trained when it comes to Vinnick issues, so I can't speak on those. But I am also full of common sense and understand what is taking place in my country, and I have a right to make commentary to see if I could end like the layman persons who listen to me like Mrs. Brown. Okay? And it is threatening where we have a situation where crime seems to be escalating. And like I said something last week, the only thing that bothers somebody who involved in criminal activities and crime, they don't want to get caught. That's the only deterrence they have in their mind. Some people say, but if you give them harsh penalties of sentencing, that might be a deterrent. You think so? You think so? Really? Somebody who get caught with 60 grams of cocaine only get 2 years and 10 months, and the traffic charge will drop. That don't send off a bell in the head and wonder why, who who may be involved, why we're not hearing the fine-tuned details of this matter, and now the person is found guilty and accused found guilty. That is where the matter is. You may say, but I heard the commissioner saying sometime booming elsewhere that it have rats that eat out the evidence down at the Baghdad next to the old airport. Well, why he didn't say if it's rats with 4 legs or rats with 2 legs, but he did say so. Tamper with the evidence. I don't know how we should accept what was said by Commissioner John, but if he is the gatekeeper for the Royal Semis and the Greenwich Police Force and he's admitting some hanky panky in terms of road ends go to where it shouldn't go, we have to be concerned. And I like to hear from somebody who could speak on the issue, what's their thought on the issue of the legal and judiciary service in civilians. Like say, my friend Dougie Defreitas and relative is always making complaints that they're interfering. I am not in a position to suggest what we think is taking place. He's probably speaking from where he had an experience, but his experience doesn't mean that it is happening. And like I said, I am not in a position, I don't think it's ever happened in civilians and Grenadians where the executive interferes with the legislature and the judiciary. I don't see that happening in citizen grading. Why don't see that happening? Ralph Gonsalves is not any ordinary person. He mastered the English language. When he speaks carefully. Okay? And he's a lawyer, practiced for quite some time before he became prime minister in 2001. So he understands the climate that he is dealing with. He know what, and some of the person who is surrounding him, hoping that he make a mistake. And that ain't going to happen once Ralph Gonsalves is prime minister. You understand? Because whenever he speaks on a particular issue, he's highly trained and understand and has a lot of experience and know what he's saying, how it is said, and what he should be said by him. But remember, he put and suggest that Colin John be commissioner of police and say, well, I think that you have 99.9% of the ability to do a good job. And under your stewardship, Mr. John, you have a responsibility to make sure police is at its best. But there are a lot of questioning, and I am also hoping that somebody could make an inquiry into why do you think that a commissioner of police should have a meeting with the magistrates in St. Vincent? Do you think that is really should have been said? If it was said, I mean, I'm really bothered to hear that because it has a suggestion. Somebody is accused, evidence is compiled, the person is taken to court. He don't have to prove his innocent. The defense have to prove that they have enough evidence to convict him or her. And after the conviction, the magistrate or the judge will use a sentencing guideline to determine where he's going with the punishment prescribed by law. And then you hear a commissioner say that he would like to entertain a meeting with the magistrate to suggest what? To suggest what? I'm wondering because hey, by law, when you're charged, whether indictable or summary, there is a particular prescription by law for your punishment. For instance, you may say, name one. If it's something, some reason you're accused of having a gun in your possession and ammunition, you can go to court, and if you plead not guilty and the court find you guilty, you could be given up to 7 years and $20,000 fine. Okay? That is what is prescribed by law. But that don't always happen. So the magistrate could say, okay, I will use the criminal code and sentence you to prison and don't attach a fine. And if he or she thinks that you need to be extremely punished, use the law and put you up to 7 years and charge you $20,000 for the accusation that you are found guilty for. So that is what creating the mayhem in the morning where people are wondering what taking place in terms of sentencing and when person is accused. If you want to make an input into this discussion, it's 45-799-94. Send your thoughts there. You can give us a call because I think we have a stop at 8:30 for a advertisement compliments.
Finishing and furnishing comes in at 8:30.
8:30, yeah. So send your thoughts there and let's see what you have anybody send any thoughts out there?
Yeah. Just give me a second to go back up there.
So tell your thoughts at 4579994 and let's see what you think about the sentencing guidelines in St. Vincent. If you have some legal ticket. People might say, well, this question is out of your realm because you're not legally trained, but I have common sense, isn't it?
Okay.
And I always read, okay.
So you read it already because you responded to it. Kings, I think you need to bring a lawyer to explain certain things to you, so you can get a better understanding of how the court works.
Well, I didn't read it, but I anticipate that would be what somebody suggested. Because, Christal, have some people, things when you're sitting behind his mic and you don't know anything, right? And they think that only persons who have a legal mind could speak on legal things. But last night, Voices program had on 3 lawyers. 3 lawyers were speaking about crime and criminality in St. Vincent again. And this is the entire program. And I thought that more person should have called and make an inquiry. It was presented at from last night and voices, Juma Thomas, Ronnie Marks, and somebody who works in the DPP office and did say that it is false flag on public radio. But I think I have an understanding of what they were speaking about. And from a layman's standpoint, I think I will get across to people who doesn't have a legal mind and who is not legally trained to understand their fundamental rights. Because don't forget, when you are accused, you are assumed innocent by law. You don't have to go to the court and prove that you are guilty. You have to prove the defense has to prove that you're guilty, and there must be significant and overwhelming evidence to convict an accused person for infringing on the guidelines and law of fitness and again. But you wouldn't hear the average person respond to this because they may say that they are not confined and legally trained to speak on this. But not until that, every time somebody is accused or charged with the police through the DPP office, they stand a better chance of acquittal if they take a lawyer. You may go court. I heard somebody say yesterday that they had a traffic offense with some of your friends, and the magistrate asked them how they plead. They say plead guilty, but with a cause. You can't plead guilty with a cause. You're either not guilty or you're guilty. And most people who go to the traffic court and when they will say to the chief magistrate, I am guilty but with a cause. Crazy? Guilty, you don't throw yourself at the court field. Don't tell about you the cause. Oh, a guilty but with a cause. No nonsense. You're either guilty or not guilty. And if you're accused, it's best you retain a lawyer if you figure that the accusation against you is too strong for you to fight to the court. Okay? So don't start this conversation because you probably don't think that you don't have that mind to do that. Whenever you find yourself in a position, you think it's difficult for you to have a confrontation with somebody and the police accuse you and charge you indictable for causing grievous bodily harm with intent. Remember when they charge you that I'm telling you to the PI, you can't plead not guilty, you can't say nothing. They have to have a PI, preliminary inquiry, sent to the High Court, and the magistrate who's hearing the PI will determine if there's enough evidence presented by the magistrate court for you to be tried by a judge and a jury. And that's where you realize that your head is hot like a fire. So you have to be very mindful. If it's a summary offense, then you know that may not or should not carry a prison sentence. If by some reason that, because let me tell you something, you as your driver, traffic offense and summary offense. The only one traffic offense that carry criminality to it is if you park your vehicle on a sidewalk, you could be charged from a criminal standpoint. And then if that happens, then you could be in prison or you could be fined. Another thing, again, you could find yourself in problem is if that you're driving a motor vehicle without the relevant insurance, that carry a 3 months imprisonment. So be mindful that you could end up in prison if you do something like that. So it's 29 minutes, 27 minutes,
Yeah.
30 seconds after 8 o'clock. Christal, is over to you.
Righty then. So we're going to take a break at this time. When we come back, we have a 10-minute special from Finishing and Finishing because today is Valentine's Day and they've got some specials in store for you.
Whatever you are celebrating,